Alrighty, more of the same. 7 minutes worth. Hooray.
Um, things aren't good.
No, they're not, Gregory. I'm glad that you've managed to finally realize that. And judging by the first few frames of imagery here, by the way, season 4 of Twin Peaks looks like it's off to a really weird start. What the fuck is this? A Blair Witch sequel we never got?
As you can see, I'm
In a tent in your backyard to make people watching this think you've been kicked out of your house so badly you've resorted to living in the woods. Might be in the cards for your future, given how things are going for you, but right now, I'm not dumb enough to buy it.
staying in a tent now.
I can't even imagine how much odor's emanating from that tent, from your body grease and BO. Oof.
I wanted to talk to you guys about. First of all, the divorce is.
Not happening because, I don't know if you do this, we can search county and local records for courts, for filings for divorce, pending divorce filings, and yeah, nothing. Nothing. You and Foot will never separate. Ever. Unless you're forced to separate by means of legal intervention. One of you goes to jail, whoever first. Because the thing is, I think the only reason you've stayed together this long, you two, is that you both know you're afflicted with the same sickness and the same proclivity to exploit people in very severe negative patches in their life for their own gratification and sexual conquest. Therefore, if you were to separate now amidst all this, you neither would know who would go to the cops first to try to get their own sorry ass out of trouble. So, divorce? Yeah, bullshit. Totally unlikely, because I'm not dumb enough to buy that at this point either one of you are going to leave. Out of fear. Really.
Things are not good.
No, they're really melodramatic so far.
Right now, there's an enormous amount of people ganging up on me. There's entire YouTube channels dedicated to trying to ruin my life.
People are hurting my big-ass sensitive feelings. Well, yeah. I mean, with what you've done, what'd you expect? And I mean, this is not like anything new. Come on now.
And you can't fake that. Just Google Oni.
Like you're fucking fake crying here. You're fake. I've been kicked out of my house and now I'm living in a tent somewhere, which is obviously just in your backyard because nobody with a functioning brain is dumb enough to believe that this is real.
And you'll see hundreds of people bullying me.
Oh, my fee-fees. Yeah, bullying the bully. Bullying the person that used the size of his audience about 10 years ago to harass the ever-living shit out of his exes, his ex-wife, ex-girlfriends, so they wouldn't have a presence on YouTube, so he could control his narrative. Oh, grow the fuck up. Jesus, you remind me of a character from one of the Sleepaway Camp movies where he's a bully that happens to get bullied, and the way the script for the film is written, we're supposed to feel sorry for the fuck. I think some of you out there that are horror movie aficionados, or at least fans of the Cinema Snob who remember his review episode, will know which one I'm talking about. You remind me so much of that character, it's unbelievable. And your persona in this video reminds me so much of how that movie was trying to portray that character and get the audience to feel about them when it just totally backfired entirely. So, no, I don't feel bad that people are bullying you, and I don't feel bad I make this kind of bullying content because it's not bullying. You fucked people over severely, fucked with them emotionally for the rest of their lives. They're still going to have that sting there. And you feel like, oh, I should just get away with it because when people call me out for it, it hurts my feelings. Grow up, you big fucking baby.
Attacking me. Ripping apart every aspect of who I am. And more significantly, who I'm not.
And who are you besides a man with a greasy giant 5 head that is a man-child in his mid-30s and capable of taking responsibility or accountability for anything that he fucking does and just constantly passes the buck off to something else or someone else? Grow up. Jesus fucking Christ. Instead of do not engage, you should have tattooed grow up on yourself. If you want to cover your body in affirmations you're incapable of enacting.
And they sadistically do so.
Yeah, I'm just getting off on it right now. I've got a fucking massive throbbing hate boner Not really. I mean, this is just no sweat off my sack about it. It's easy to do this shit. It's not really sadism. Sadism is wanting to, for your own sexual gratification, vindictively tie up a girl in your basement, make her shave her head and dye her eyebrows green and whatever crazy weird fuckery you wanted to do to poor Billy. My God. That's not sadism to you? Fucking defeminizing women isn't sadistic to you? Jesus. Allowing your spouse to take advantage of a trans person during the transitory phase in their life for their dysphoria, for things that they can't control, that's not sadism? Oh boy. Oh boy. Fucking come on. Blubber me a river.
When I made that freak out video because I just got fired essentially from Patreon.
You would have had to have been an employee to Patreon at the corporate level to be fired from them. Patreon is a free to use platform for anybody that wants to utilize it, and I'm considering getting on there myself, but that's completely unrelated. You weren't fired from there because they banned your fucking account for not wanting to be associated with somebody that would dox somebody's personal information on Twitter. You weren't fired from YouTube when you claimed you were fired from YouTube because you were never employed by these services or companies. YouTube should fire your other channels if that's how you want to put it. And fire them out of a cannon into a brick wall.
There was a channel, probably multiple channels, that literally made reaction videos where they just laughed at me suffering.
Well, of course. How the fuck else did you think people were going to react to that shit? Because nobody was dumb enough to believe that was real. If that's honestly 100% your reaction, that's how you respond to things like that in your life, and that wasn't ironic, that wasn't you cracking a joke on everybody else's expense. Holy fucking shit. Brainlet isn't even the word for it. You're like one of those brainlet meme guys that instead of just having like a big dent in his head, he's like got a fucking black hole where his brain should be. Divided by 0, you know?
YouTube has a anti-bullying policy? Right?
Yeah, and people like you abuse it all the time, which is one of the reasons I think they should remove it, because it only panders to dicks like you. Nobody can actually use it for its intended purpose because it's too preoccupied in being abused by greasy, sweaty fuckheads like yourself, using it for their own purposes to control and manipulate narratives.
Yet there are literally entire channels that make more than $10,000 a month.
I don't make anywhere near that much money because I don't make money on this. I don't make $10,000 a month on YouTube because I don't make $10,000 a month on anything. I make no money from doing this. Where'd you get that fucking figure?
More than $10,000 a month.
Yeah! I used to have that money. I used to have 2 big mansions, and all the little girls used to think I was so cool. Come over to Russet Manor. Holy shit. Oh, boy.
Obsessing over hatred of me.
Okay. I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind having $10,000 a month for any reason. But, yeah, okay. Where did you get this idea that there's money being made? Who is making $10,000 a month on this? I want to know. If you're gonna point it at Repsion, you're not the forefront of his content. He makes content about all kinds of different people, all kinds of different things. Sounds like a big bit of butthurt there.
I got a call from YouTube. I did.
Did they say, thank you for your contributions to this website since we'll never do anything to get you the fuck off our website ever? since we don't have any principles, we don't have any morals, we don't have any values, because the CEO of our entire company is so far up her own ass, she can't accept any accountability for providing a vehicle for people like you to utilize to hurt others. Yeah. Initiate an adpocalypse for no other reason to do it, Susan. And this guy's still making money here. Yeah. Nice.
And they said, oh, we need you to take down your Shane Dawson videos.
When has anyone from YouTube that is a content creator that is at your level ever been contacted by phone from YouTube? I'd wager never. Their communication with anyone has been almost entirely through email, always. Even creators like Philip DeFranco have complained about the lack of communication between some of their big money makers and themselves. Maybe they have the Paul brothers on like fucking speed dial, or people that make brain dead content like that brings in constantly millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views. But fucking irrelevant motherfuckers like yourself, get the fuck out of here with this narcissism.
And I said, the only Shane Dawson videos I have are fan videos, where I'm a fan of Shane Dawson.
Okay, do you think Shane Dawson wants to be associated with some weird grease stain that's done nothing besides antagonize him for years, because the only thing that he really ever did for you was collaborate with you a couple of times, which is essentially the backbone upon which your career was spawned, apart from the banana video and shit? Come on now. Why the fuck would Shane ever want to be fucking associated with some weird fuck who's stalked him for years, talked so much shit about him, it's unfucking believable, and has never given anything back to him, because there's nothing for you to give back to a guy who essentially gave you everything you have. And if he made one statement saying, fuck yourself, leave me alone, it would be an asteroid into whatever remains of your career at this point and just nuke it into a million pieces. He has the power to take everything that he ever helped you get away instantly. Even fucking Vincent Sear had that ability to a degree when he said, you know what, I just don't even give a fuck. Here's what this guy's really like. I'm going to do a couple of interviews saying, yeah, a lot of the people that talk about this dude online aren't really wrong in their assumptions at all, because I was there to see it. You know how many fucking subscribers you lost there? If anything, if this scenario isn't something you just boiled up in your head, you know, it's just one of the humidity drippings off the constantly stressed mind of Onion, I'd say it wasn't YouTube that gave you a call. It was probably somebody from Shane's legal team giving you a call the same way somebody from Shiloh's legal team gave you a call saying, fuck yourself, leave this guy alone. Since he can't ever goddamn fucking stop and actually accept the terms of a cease and desist, he had to go in his backyard, get a tent out, and make a fucking video with astronomical magnitudes of butthurt. Nice.
Like 2012. And YouTube's like, oh yeah, this is really important. We're enforcing our new policy.
Well, it's their right to enforce a policy. They're the ones that typed it up, and it's their terms of service that you agree to by utilizing their website. So what more do you want? Okay, what do you think they're going to do? Break their rules for you? Well, I mean, that's actually kind of a loaded point, because they seem to. So I don't know, maybe they're finally getting their shit together, and they're sick and tired of fucking creepy, weird pedophiles like yourself taking up space here. Sick and tired of fucking writing your checks.
And I said, oh, this is really interesting. This is really interesting. First of all, I'm happy to take down these fan videos where I literally just say Shane Dawson is amazing, Shane Dawson's a god, because I'm so sorry.
Shane Dawson is a pedophile. Shane Dawson should be exposed for these things because of a fucking weird joke that you took out of context. Yeah, that's really, really whole lots of praise.
That I was ever, I guess, a fan of him. And I said nice things about him.
Wanting to break into a person's house in the middle of the night, chloroform them, and then force them to accept your baby carrot in ways that I won't even describe here is more than just being a fan, Gregory.
They're like, oh, well, what about these videos where you were saying anything that wasn't fandom? I'm like, I took those down like months ago.
What does that matter? It's the fact that you said it. What do you think? The gesture of taking a video down, if you say something fucking horrific about another person, is enough to ensure forgiveness? Dude, I mean, we Daniel and I, Refsion and I, buried the hatchet of antagonism that we had towards, one another. But it's probably still for him, and I am understanding of this, going to take a long time for him to forget a lot of the mean, fucked up shit I said in my videos. Taking those videos down and just simply apologizing for them isn't the end-all be-all of it. It takes time. It really does. And if you can't understand that kind of a concept at fucking 34 years old, there's pretty much no chance you're ever gonna understand that fucking concept. Shane doesn't want to be associated with you, and he doesn't have to be. You're just this fucking tumor in the lives of people around you that just refuses to fucking wither up and die. It's like, I'm here, and I'm here to stay, because I don't want to be lonely anymore. So now that you've invited me in your life, you got to put up with me for fucking ever. Because I'm going to make like as much noise as possible and screech and and fucking thrash around and be as annoying as fuck until you just put up with me. Because I'm like a 5-year-old emotionally who can't handle that when somebody doesn't want me in their life anymore, I have no right to take up space in their world. And I should just get over it and deal with it. And maybe use it as a point for reflection about my own actions. But I can't. I have too much water in my mind that doesn't allow me to think properly. It's like when he thinks too hard on something, it sounds like a cup of noodles that's been overboiled or like a percolator that's been left on. It's fucking stupid. Grow up.
They're not even up anymore. But YouTube calls me. And they say I need to take down even these fan videos where I'm just being supportive.
Well, you should do it. You're risking your channel being deleted by not going along with what they're asking you. It seems like a pretty reasonable request, and it seems like it was done on behest of somebody else.
On a comedy channel. Where it's like a sketch. A joke.
I'm sorry, officer. I don't know what more you want from me. It was part of a sketch where I put all these girls in my house and fucking traumatized them for the rest of their lives. Why didn't the judge believe me?
And then I say, oh, well, don't you think it's a little, I don't know, against YouTube policy?
What do you know about YouTube policy? You violated it for a decade. You violate the way the DMCA system and copyright claiming system works all the fucking time. You don't give a shit. Fucking what the hell?
Is it against the YouTube policy because it's not looking my ass? It's not working in my favor.
To make tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I'm fucking like Alan Greenspan just rolling around in cash right now. In fact, you see those guitars behind me? They're not made of wood. It's actually just made out of petrified dollar bills. That would actually be a cool way to make a guitar. It'd probably sound like shit, but the idea sounds cool.
Ripping apart a guy who lives in a tent!
Reem! I'm in a tent!
Yeah, you're in a tent in your backyard. Oh shit, I didn't hit play. I thought he was just doing like an 800-minute fucking dramatic pause. Like he was Evangelion and his budget ran out, so they just sat there and paused the animation just to fucking pad time out.
I live in a tent!
Yeah, you will.
And you guys are sitting...
Yeah, well, when you're not living in a tent, you live in a swamp shack that's full of garbage. You know? I mean... When you decide to get out of the tent and go back into the house, it's not much better. I mean, you get to go back into a nasty, cluttered shithole that's filled with boxes of crap just scattered all over the place. You know, garbage cans with trash fucking overflowing, gnats and flies everywhere. Saggy tit foot. You know, a couple of kids you don't want that unfortunately had to, be born to parents like you and them. So, I mean, I don't know. If I were in your position, I'd probably rather live in a tent at that fucking point. I'd fucking rather live in a garbage can at that point because at least, it's an honest living. It's not like you're living in a garbage can, but it's a house instead of just a garbage can. It's like you're turning a house into a garbage can. I mean, when he had the McMansion, he had so much trash and bullshit everywhere. Like in the background of some of those videos he made when he was in that house, if you look, you can see like the kind of garbage cans you'll put down by your curb. Not the rectangular ones that look like a Star Wars gonk droid, but they look like just the cylindrical cans. And they would just be piled with shit. Piled with shit. It's like, holy fuck. How do you accumulate this fucking much garbage? Jesus Christ, you fuckers are hoarders.
They're going, we're so much better than him! He's a loser!
Yeah, you are.
Look at him, this helpless person who has no chance of defending himself! Ever!
You have plenty of chances to defend yourself. But every time you do, when you're not trying to be ironic like this, it isn't much better than this. Because you have nothing to defend yourself on. You have no defense for your actions because you have to admit to, like, wanting to engage in this behavior. And because you're a big fat pussy, you can't be responsible for the things that he does. You're not willing to cop for that. So, yeah, I mean, it's not that you're unable to defend yourself, that you don't have the means, you don't have the resources, you're just unwilling to, without resorting to a bunch of lies and a whole bunch of weird narcissistic meltdown tactics that neurotypical people, or even people that aren't crazy narcs or Patreon pay pigs or Discord pay pigs, won't fall prey to, because we're not that fucking stupid.
Let's hope, because it suits our agenda.
Yeah, that's my agenda for the day. You know, I got a whiteboard in the other room, and the first thing on it is "fuck up onions life." You know. Yep.
Let's gang up on him and bully him till he loses his mind.
You would have had to possess one to begin with in order to lose it later, so you can't lose something you never had.
And then even when he loses his mind, we'll still kick him because we keep getting paid by Google AdSense!
Yeah, hang on. I'm getting a call. Hello? Hey, Google AdSense, how you doing? Steve, yeah. 20,000. Okay, sounds good. Same time next week? That's not happening! You delusional weirdo. Good Lord.
We'll keep getting paid! So we'll keep attacking and attacking and attacking!
No, we're just gonna keep going because it needs to be done. What I'm really hearing is,
I used to have a mansion. I used to have Teslas. I used to afford all kinds of video games and cameras and PlayStations. This is what happens when you are a narcissist mother that raises their children to no accountability whatsoever because they're their golden babies. And they go into the world as young adults fucking spoiled as shit. And they don't have any idea of appreciation for anything. And then they wind up all fucked up like this, where they scream and cry and bitch and piss and moan because they're having a 5-year-old's fucking tantrum, looking like a fucking sweaty caveman in a tent in their backyard to try to manipulate people from not doing what I'm doing right now. Are you fucking serious? Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, really, with the tent and the beard and the stench just belching out of my screen right now. I mean, you know, you really are wearing all the homeless regalia. And the thing is, too, I feel bad for a lot of homeless people. Not for you, but, you know. So don't make this out into something like, oh, he's an anti-homeless, you know, kind of person. Not really. I mean, some people, yeah, they did everything they could to wind up in that position. And even if when you offer them help, they won't accept it. But some people, they just fall through the cracks in life. And it's like, you're not one of those kind of people. You're one of those kind of people that did everything they could to have everything and then blew it because they couldn't deal with the responsibility of it or have any appreciation for it. So yeah, keep bitching. Be mad. Be big mad. This is pretty big mad. I say this is damn near gigantic mad. We're approaching like humongous mad. There's like a little pressure gauge image I need to make where like the needle goes further into the red. It's like big mad,
No, large mad, big mad, enormous mad, gigantic, you know. So it's like, I wonder where on that pressure gauge we're sitting at right now.
Everyone he's ever kicked out of his life conveniently decides to show back up and kick him while he's down!
This sounds like a fucking Pee Wee Herman meltdown. Is that really what you sound like yelling at people? Because I'm waiting for a at some point here. I swear to God, the only thing you're missing is a fucking like jet black slicked fucking haircut and a fucking all gray suit with a little red bow tie. And all they want to do is kick him while he's down. That sounds more like Jordan Peterson impersonating Pee Wee than Paul Rubens, but yeah, you get my point.
Oh, he's not dead yet! He hasn't ended it all!
Well, you don't have the balls to kill yourself, so nobody has to worry about that. You're a narcissist. You love yourself too much to end yourself. So we at least don't have to really worry about that. Every single time you ever threatened it, it was just to get something out of people. You did it in the Army or Air Force. You did it just to get out of the Air Force. You've probably done it multiple times since then to people you've been with to try to manipulate them. Thankfully, I'm not dumb enough to fall for something like that, so you don't have to worry about putting that on your checklist of tactics to use, because you can be assured already I'm not going to buy it.
So we're going to keep kicking until he doesn't exist! And then when he finally does...
No, we don't want to do that. We want to keep making these videos so people can be aware of what it is that you are, so no one else falls victim to the shit that you put people through. I mean, you already are in deep shit for the investigation that's going on with the FBI. You'd figure that the majority of your whine would be about that, as opposed to what people do on YouTube. I mean, this is such a shining example of your level of narcissism. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is looking in to the allegations that have been brought up in Chris Hansen's streams and actual physical evidence, apparently, of your involvement and your spouse's involvement with the proliferation of child pornography. Possession, transmission, indictment is a very, very serious thing to be wrapped up in. But instead of giving a shit about any of that, it's what fucking people like myself and others do on the internet, that you're having this fake, but there's a bit of actual emotion I'm sensing in here, meltdown in a tent in your backyard. It almost feels to me like you putting the tent in your backyard to kind of just facilitate the reason to have this video was another way to separate yourself kind of from the environment you live in, so you could like freak out about this a little bit more genuinely. It's kind of an interesting observation, really. It's like, yeah, maybe the wife and kids are getting sick and tired of fucking hearing it. So let me go and fucking make it look like I've been kicked out of my house and put up this tent in my backyard so that I can fucking freak out about this the way that I really want to. People think it's fake, but I don't know. Some of this seems pretty genuine. I mean, the overall scenario was obviously bullshit, but so the freak out, there's moments in this where big mad, real big mad, large anger.
We'll laugh at him and we'll pee on his grave!
I'd shit on your grave, because taking a piss on your grave, I don't know. It's not enough. I don't know. Maybe I'd load up a Chipotle first, too. I'm sorry for that imagery.
Because that's the YouTube anti-bullying policy. That's what YouTube is. You made a fan video about Shane Dawson. And you gotta take those down. Where you literally just hugged an object and talked about how much you love Shane Dawson. You gotta take those down. They're not getting views. You're not making any money. But you still gotta take them.
I really don't think that you've been making YouTube real money for years, because I'm not dumb enough to think that. I mean, are you really unaware of how far down the totem pole of relevancy you are? Do you think that you're really still at the top?
Ah, the video that got 76 million views.
Yeah? And Jake Paul is probably like, Logan Paul even has like what? Probably 20 of those? On the regular? You know, I think both those guys are idiots, but hey, whatever it is that they do to bring in views works. This shit, not so much.
Down! Oh, and video after video after video!
I love the fact, by the way, that you haven't included background music in any of these because, man, I'm telling you, these have provided such a wonderful library for sampling that I don't have to worry about getting background music out from. So, thanks. You know, you want people to laugh at you. I mean, the remixing possibilities are endless here. I'm just saying.
Beating the hell out of someone! Ripping every aspect of their life and their made-up life apart!
Oh, like you did to Shiloh, Sarah, Billy, Adrian, Sky, Alicia, all these people. Fuck yourself. You didn't give a fuck about anything you did to them. Why should anyone give a fuck about what happens to you?
That's fine! Laugh at his suffering!
Yeah, laugh at it. Point and laugh, actually. I can't do it the way that voice actor does.
Call him every horrible name! Every single terrible thing you could say about him! Say it!
Baby carrot.
And we'll give you money! We'll pay you!
I don't get paid for these videos.
Because he's not a person! He's not a human being! He's...
You don't have to answer this publicly. Feel free in DM. Was this what it was like when they had to haul him off? I'm just curious. Because when it was described to me that his meltdown, when he actually stripped down in front of his commanding officer in the military, what was described to me is that pretty much it was this. So, I mean, damn. that you know, frankly, if this isn't enough to get you dishonorable, like what do you have to do? Like what? If you can do something like that and they just don't want to go through those motions, like what do you have to do?
He's nothing. He's no one. The only people who matter are the people who 10-year-old little girls worship. That's it. Everyone else.
You mean yourself, because that's mainly what your fan base seems to have been cultivated by. I mean, have you not been, even though I know you have been, but just for the sake of this video, have you not been paying attention to the streams, dum-dum? Every single one of these women found out about your content from anywhere between the ages of 12 to like 15. That's the margin. So, yeah. Like,
I have an audience of mostly children. I mean, it's like 99%. There's still that 1% margin of error.
Is not a human. They don't count.
Grog mad. I mean, with the beard and the hair and the dark little background there, he does kind of look like a caveman, you know, screaming in his cave. Is he gonna climb out of that thing with a club in his hand to go find another mate? Jesus Christ. This is the strangest Nat Geo doc I've ever seen.
I quit. I'm done with YouTube. I'm done with all of you.
Oh, if only I were stupid enough to believe that.
I'm done with the internet. You guys are disgusting, horrible people.
You'll be back in like, what, 2-3 days.
And you will always be.
Says you, but, you know, you're a child grooming parasite. So I can't really feel insulted by one of the lowest forms of life on Earth.
Because this is who you are. You don't care about human beings. There are people who get stabbed, and there are people who get violated, and so forth.
Yeah, and there are people like you that exploit people for their emotional, mental, and life circumstance shortcomings. So, who gives a fuck about you? Yeah, there are people that get shot all over the place. There are people that get stabbed all over the place. There are people right now probably loading up a gun or getting some rope or open up a pack of fucking razor blades to end their life. And to you, they're just a statistic for exploitation. Their suffering is your paycheck. Because that's the kind of person you are. Why should anyone give a fuck about somebody like that? Ever. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself and your bottom line. The only reason that you're having this big fucking meltdown right now is to try to exploit it for views and to vent your fucking butthurt frustrations in some kind of aloof manner. But when it's like you go off the rails like that, it's like you're really seeing his genuine frustration. And it's like you're only frustrated that you don't have as big of a piece of the pie as you used to anymore. So, yeah, nobody's going to give a fuck about your suffering. And the suffering that you mention here doesn't even have anything to do with you. It's like, yeah, I'm a terrible person, but so are they. They're worse than me. You know. Oh, boy. That attitude isn't going to help you in jail, I'm just telling you right now. It's not. It's not. Even before you go to, like, prison. In a county that's not even gonna fucking, like, even in like a city lockup, that shit ain't gonna help you. So look at this fucking screenshot, by the way, right here. This is amazing. This is like I mentioned earlier, the lost sequel to the Blair Witch series. Is like this looks like it could be a screenshot from it, like near the end where everybody's like freaking out. That's what it fucking looks like. It's dark. It's got a shaky cam footage quality to it. Oh. I am unironically a fan of the second Blair Witch movie. There you go. Have at it. Tear me apart in the comments.
And none of you ever talk about them because they're not newsworthy.
That is rich. Well, why aren't you talking about them then? Talk about all the suffering going on in the world. Make your channel into a news channel and let's see how genuine you can give a fuck about other people than yourself. Let's see how long you can talk about all the homicides that happen every single day and carjackings and armed robberies and fucking grand larcenies and all fucked up manner of shit that human beings do to one another without getting into a sex joke every 30 fucking milliseconds or making it about yourself in some weird roundabout way. You know, you want to pass the buck on to other people because they don't care about suffering. Well, where are your fucking videos about it, bitch? Shut up.
I didn't fucking activist for this and that. I mean, ignore the fact that it's transparent as shit that the only reason I'm an activist for anything is for the brownie points I can fucking get from people. Look like I'm on their side of the fence. Only reason I'm a vegetarian or vegan. Only reason I pretend I give a fuck about animal rights. Only reason I fucking pretend to give a shit about world peace. I don't give a fuck about anything besides what being part of those organizations makes me look like to other people. Look at me. I'm a fucking creepy, stalking, pedo fucking predator who was a Reign supporter only because I knew it made me look better to be a Reign supporter. And took the fucking blame off my shoulders and took eye off my activities a bit. Yeah, believe it or not, he was a supporter of Reign, that organization. And look what kind of person he is. So, yeah, I'm a good person professionally, but for no other reason. And I'm so dumb I don't understand the context behind the word professionally there. I think it means expert. Stupid fuck.
Instead, you talk about a guy who did nothing wrong, and the worst thing he ever did was have a different opinion than you.
Jeffrey Epstein did nothing wrong!
Nor did he kill himself.
And the worst thing he ever did was rejected you and said he didn't want you in his life.
I'm so angry. Oh, yeah. It was not the worst thing, though, you know. Is that the worst thing you ever did? So shaving someone's head, calling them a good bitch, that's not doing anything wrong. That's not wrong. That's totally fine. That's such a nice thing to do to someone. You know, I mean, on your wedding day, is that what you did? You know, did you go up to him and just pull out a fucking buzzer out of nowhere? I love you, bitch. You know?
It's not wrong to want to chain somebody up in your basement. It's not wrong to make videos that say after someone's had X number of sexual partners, they're completely worthless for dating. Because they get like a smelly pussy and shit.
Fucking piece of shit.
It's not wrong to slander someone's parent with a fucking fake story about something that never happened to try to damage their career in the professional world because I'm butthurt I can't fuck their kid anymore.
Yeah, shut up. Shut up.
God forbid! You can't handle rejection, so you have to maliciously, vindictively rip someone apart?
Yeah, now I'm kind of wondering how the conversations between you and the Foot go, because this seems like this is how arguments are in that household. If there's anybody out there that can confirm that, feel free. Because that's kind of how I always felt it's like it goes down, honestly.
You have to act like, oh, woe is me.
Take some responsibility. You're toddlers. You should be able to handle me screaming at you. My mom did it to me. Why can't you take it?
Oh, I'm just so, they didn't want to talk.
Hey, it's actual audio from his first night in prison.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, Tyrone.
I'm old. I'm just so,
Yes, DeAndre.
Oh, they didn't want to talk to me. Oh, they're horrible because they didn't want to talk to me.
Nobody wants to talk to you. They just want to pinch your fucking stupid face in, assuming that it's not going to melt their knuckles off with all the grease. Come on now.
That's what I get for telling people that I don't want to be around them. That's what I get for saying, hey, you should...
Yeah, that's what you get for sending them emails over and 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 over again for a fucking year's worth and then more and more years. Jesus Christ, you just kept fucking emailing the shit out of your ex-wife and your fucking ex-wife's sister. Yeah, you don't want these people to be around you anymore. That's why you harass the shit out of people to be in their life. Okay. Sure.
Stop bullying me on your channel. I've asked these people so many times to stop.
You haven't said shit to me. The only people that you've ever said shit to like that, I think, are Repsion and Chris Hansen and his manager and, or his producer, rather, and that guy from Newsweek. Where's my email? I mean, my inbox is open. I know that you have it. How else did we do that debate years and years and years ago? Like, so, you know, send me a New Year's resolution.
They still obsessively attack and attack and attack while ignoring people who murder, stab, thieve, and otherwise horribly victimize.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not out there putting a cape and fucking bat costume on and beating criminals in the night so I can fucking hold up to your standard of moral superiority. Okay, is that what you do? Batman? Jesus. You fucking cringe lord that goes to meet, was it Ayala? If I'm pronouncing that correctly, with fucking platform boots on and a Joker costume? I mean, I swear to God, what goddamn dungeon of Hot Topic cringe did you pull that shit from? What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ. You're lucky that these women didn't just summarily laugh in your face and say, fuck it, we're getting back on a plane out of here. This is too cringy for us. You know, Jesus Christ.
People in a literally criminal way. Ignore all of them. Ignore all...
Literal criminal Shia LaBeouf.
All of them. Because that doesn't sell. Joe.
You have to make money in order to be, benefiting from selling a product. This isn't a product. I'm not selling anything, and I'm not turning a profit.
Schmo, nobody in the middle of nowhere constantly beating his wife is not news.
Okay?
Instead, let's go after the guy who has a friggin' opinion. And let's watch him slowly die.
If it was just about your videos, that would be one thing. But that's not. And you know it. Oh, man. Look at them fucking teeth. They're getting yellower and yellower by the day. Like, I'm self-conscious over mine and shit because they're not in the best shape they could be in. But, at least they're not piss yellow like that. Look at this shit. Even in the dark. God. You may not want to breathe too heavily on your camera while doing this. You might melt the CMOS chip for it.
And let's laugh! Literally laugh! And make over $1,000 laughing at him!
Oh, hang on. I'm getting buzzed again. I can see it on my phone here. Oh, it's AdSense again. Hang on. Hey, what's up, AdSense? Oh, another 1,000. Hey, cha-ching. All right. See ya. I swear to God, I almost wonder if that's like the world he thinks he fucking lives in, for real.
Because everybody applauds and says, haha, they're not a human. We're all good people.
Human.
We're all good people because we sadistically enjoy the suffering of another human being.
That's your worldview, certainly not mine.
I quit.
You'd had to have been employed by YouTube at that level in order to quit. Well, that was special. That was special. Look at all these pay pigs. How many of these people are still, by the way, giving him money? Because I'm almost wondering if this is just old names for people that aren't up there anymore. And the real list is like 2 or 3 e-thoughts in like their mid-30s or 40s. With nothing going on. Oh, boy. That was special. That was very special. Special ed. Hooray! I hope you enjoyed. Because obviously there's more to come. There always is. It never ends. So, hooray.